Right. On as you continue navigating the map of your feelings, you're gonna discover that, or you might discover that there is some feeling, there is some emotions that are not so clear. There is some emotions that you start feeling like, is this sadness, or is this fear, or is this fear, or this is anger? And it might be that you're having an experience of a mixed emotions. An experience of mixed emotions, you have this, for example, when you're being pulled one way, but then you're being pulled another way. And when you're getting this message, but then you're getting this other message. When you're getting this contradictory energies pulling away from each other. And a clear example of this is depression. When you're feeling depression, I'm gonna write it down here actually. Uh, I think it's with two S. I'm not sure. Depression. When you're feeling depression, you're getting this thing that knocks you down on the bed, and you're paralyzed. You're knocked down on the bed. You want to get up, but you don't want to get up. You're indecisive. You're feeling confused. Confused is another one. Confusion. You're feeling not clear. You have like no motivation to get out of the bed, no motivation to go and do something, to take care of this thing that you need to take care of. And this is a clear example of having a mixed emotion, when you're having these two things that it seems like one is pulling one way, but one is pulling another way. And as an example, to break down depression, is mixing of the emotion of anger and sadness. So I'm gonna write it down here. This is like a process of distillation. We're getting into the alchemy here of feelings, and this is the cool thing about working with the map of feelings, the four feelings, because the four feelings work as the primary colors, and then the combination of the primary feelings create the whole gamma of feelings and emotions that human beings can experience. So when we distill the essence of depression, we find that there is mostly anger mixed with sadness. And when you're feeling angry about something, and then sadness about the same thing. um, for a long time, I felt depressed about the state of the world. I i didn't know I was depressed, but I was in this down state where I was pinned down to like being disempowered. And really, like, I was angry about the state of the world, angry at how humanity was treating the earth, how humanity is like relating with the natural world and with themselves, how they're enslaving and exploiting themselves and others, other species, other life, even time, and nature in general. And I was angry about this. And and I knew that I was angry, but I didn't have the language for it. I didn't have the clarity that it was anger. I just had this like this meshed up thing that was, I didn't call it depression, but I will call it something else. I was like, it was my reality. It's like, this is it. This is what it feels like to live in this world. Feel this sense of like stupidity, like humans are stupid, why are you doing this? And then at the same time, I will feel the sadness, the this is sad. Like, this is sad how we're relating to the world. This is sad how we don't have connection with each other, how we're not connected with nature, and we don't have thriving communities, but there is just competition and fighting against each other. And I'm hungry, and I was homeless, and I didn't have this thing, and I didn't have people to connect with. Like, my family didn't get it. My mom and my dad, they did not get what I was going through. So I had this for a long time. I had these two together. They were like meshed together, and I didn't know that I was having mixed emotions. Yeah, of course, it's clear now once you point it out. And in that moment, it was not clear. So as you're navigating your map of feelings, just know that there is some territories where you might be mixing emotions, and the problem with this, with mixing, there is no problem. There is no good or wrong or right or wrong about this, but it is that I was using this uh, as a conditioning. It was a conditioning. I didn't know how to use my anger. Nobody taught me how to use my anger. Nobody taught me how to say like, "Hey, this is what I'm here for," or "This is like the clarity that I have." It's like uh, all I had was this possibility of feeling these two together, or meshing the two together, and essentially I did this. We do this mixing of emotions for because the purity and the power of each one of these individually is so powerful. When you're able to express your anger so purely, like, it's so powerful when you have that clarity, and when you're able to feel your sadness by itself is so powerful. And and as children, we didn't have this possibility, and we started copying what we were seeing other people doing, which was like mixing the feelings, which will cover up feelings with other feelings. Like, I will cover up my sadness with fear, and then my fear with sadness, and then I will cover up with anger, and then the anger I will cover it up with sadness. And it was this whole strategy, like layer upon layer. It was like a layer cake of feelings upon feelings. And among some of these, like, some of these feelings, they got tangled together. They couldn't distinguish between one another. And in the few modules, we're gonna learn a process of on mixing emotions. So right now I'm just putting on that there is feelings that are mixed. These are mixed emotions, and I couldn't do anything. Essentially, it puts me into a victim state, a disempowered state, where I don't have the capacity to use my anger and my sadness independently, but I only have access to depression, which is a disempowered state. And when I say this, it's like it's a victim state that where uh, nothing changes for me. I'm disempowered. There's no possibility for me, and in a way, I derive a benefit from it. You derive a benefit from feeling a mix of emotion, from disempowering yourself, and the benefit that you derive from it is that you don't change, that nothing changes, and that you get to stay the same. You get to be right about being depressed. So I was right about being depressed for like 5 years, 5, 6 years, until I had my children, and then it wasn't working anymore. It wasn't working to be disempowered. It wasn't working to not change, because my family, my children were being directly affected, and this was painful enough to like shake me up and break me down, and going getting me to study this stuff, or research my feelings. So eventually you're gonna find out that these strategies of mixing your feelings as you grow up to more responsibility doesn't work anymore. Whether it is that you become a parent, or whether it is that you're becoming a space holder for something bigger than yourself, or whatever form of that you're taking more responsibility, uh, you're gonna find that these strategies, they don't work. They are strategies that we adopted when we were children, when we were younger, to survive the world, to make a sense of the world, to have an identity, to have a way of interpreting or using our feelings. And as adults, this doesn't work anymore. And it's your job now to see that, to be in the pain of, oh, being depressed doesn't work for me, because uh, and if I didn't have any possibilities, then it would just be that, like, I'm depressed and that's that. But once you learn that depression is anger and sadness together, and that they're mixed together, and this is what is like mixing uh, beer with actually, I don't like using the beer anymore, but it's like mixing fresh green tea with compost, and then it's like you can't drink the compost, or yeah, it's like mixing two things that they don't mix together, or mixing two things that once you mix them, they cannot be used for each for like as good as they're independently. So there is a power in unmixing them. There is a power in like really getting that clarity and unmixing this, and we're gonna explore this possibility of unmixing in a future, in the next modules, in the emotional healing process. For now, you just give this clarity that there might be a mix of emotions, that is neither good or wrong, and that you might have created this as a survival strategy to survive the world that you live in, and that this puts you into this role of victim, rescuer, or persecutor, which we're also going to study in a future module. But this is the triangle of low drama. So you're a victim, a persecutor, or you're a rescuer, and this is the triangle of low drama, which is the essentially how we create the mix of emotions. We create a big mix of emotions so that we can play in this game of low drama, because this is what the world is modeling out to us. And now as an adult, and now that you're doing this program, you're doing this training, you're getting this like all of these new different possibilities, and take them. Like, go ahead and take them, because they're really there for you. Like, nobody can do this stuff for you. Nobody can unmix a feeling for you. So it's really these are tools to empower you, and also to not judge other people that have mixed emotions, for example, because they don't have, maybe they don't have the tools and the skills and the processes that you have gone through. So these are just things to have clarity about yourself, and to start doing your process of learning when you have a mix of emotion, and learning to call it that way. I have a mix of emotion. I have mixing anger and sadness. And then you can see like, what is my anger about? And then you can go into the anger full out. If it's possible. A lot of the time it's not possible because it's so enmeshed. And this is when the process of unmixing emotions is needed. So that's it for now. I'll see you again. This next step is going to be getting into first position. So hang on to your buckles, and I'll see you again in the next video.